Welcome to Echo of Legends. In this world full of noise and chaos, some minds stood still, powerful not because they spoke often, but because they knew when to stay silent. Their silence wasn't weakness. It was control. It was strength. Today we'll explore 5 moments in life where silence becomes your greatest weapon. 1. When your emotions are high, silence keeps you from saying something you'll regret. Emotions are powerful. They can fuel our passion, drive our decisions, and shape our relationships. But when emotions run too high, especially in moments of anger, frustration, sadness, or even extreme excitement, they can cloud our judgment. In those moments, we're more likely to react than respond, and that's where silence becomes not just helpful, but necessary. When you're emotionally charged, your brain shifts into survival mode. You want to defend yourself, prove a point, or express what you're feeling without filter. But here's the catch. What feels right to say in the heat of the moment often becomes something you deeply regret later. Words can cut deeper than any weapon. They can ruin friendships, hurt loved ones, damage reputations, and create emotional scars that take years to heal. That's why silence is so powerful. Choosing not to speak when your emotions are high doesn't mean you're weak or avoiding confrontation. It means you're wise enough to know that not every thought deserves to be spoken. It's a sign of maturity, patience, and emotional intelligence. Silence gives you time to think. It gives you space to breathe. It gives your mind a chance to calm down and your heart a chance to settle. In those silent moments, you're able to reflect. You can ask yourself, is what I'm about to say helpful? Is it necessary? Will it bring peace or create more chaos? Most of the time, the answers to these questions guide you toward a better, calmer response, or no response at all. Some of the strongest people aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones who know when to stay quiet. Their silence speaks volumes. It says, I'm in control. I don't need to prove anything. I respect myself and others enough not to lash out. This doesn't mean you should suppress your emotions. It means you should learn to manage them before they manage you. Talk things out when you're ready, not when you're angry. Speak when your words are shaped by clarity, not chaos. Silence in emotional moments is a practice, not a one-time act. It takes self-awareness and discipline. But once you master it, you'll see how many unnecessary arguments you avoid, how much energy you save, and how much respect you gain from others. So the next time your heart is pounding and your mind is racing, try this. Pause, breathe, and say nothing. Let the moment pass. Let your emotions cool, then decide what's worth saying, if anything at all. Because in those moments, silence isn't just golden. It's powerful, wise, and absolutely necessary. 2. When others are gossiping, don't add fuel to pointless drama. We've all been in situations where someone starts talking about another person behind their back. Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, or even a family member. The conversation quickly turns into gossip. At first, it might feel harmless. Maybe you even feel included or entertained. But the truth is, gossip is a trap, and silence is your best way out of it. Gossiping may seem like simple talk, but it often carries deep consequences. When you add your words to gossip, you're not just participating. You're fueling the fire. You're giving life to negativity, rumors, and often false assumptions. And sooner or later that energy circles back. The same people who gossip with you today could gossip about you tomorrow. Choosing to stay silent in those moments doesn't mean you're cold or distant. It means you're intentional. It shows that you value respect and loyalty more than short-term entertainment. It means you don't waste your voice on conversations that have no real meaning or purpose. Gossip brings no growth, no truth, and no peace. It only creates division, mistrust, and drama. When someone starts gossiping around you, silence is your power move. You don't have to respond. You don't have to nod or laugh or pretend to care. You can simply choose not to contribute. And in that moment, you protect not just the person being talked about, but also your own integrity. People may test you. They may push you to share your opinion, or try to bait you into speaking badly about someone. But the real strength lies in staying neutral. Being silent in the face of gossip isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It shows that your words hold value, and you won't waste them on something that serves no good purpose. Plus, think about your own life. How would you feel if people were speaking about you behind your back? How would it feel knowing someone you trusted added to that noise? The world already has enough drama. You don't need to be a part of it. Over time, people will notice your silence. They'll see that you don't entertain negativity, and they'll start respecting you for it. Some may even start to follow your lead. Because in a world full of noise, silence is rare and powerful. Being silent when others gossip isn't about being passive. It's about being protective of your peace, your values, and your energy. You're not here to tear others down. You're here to build, to grow, to focus on things that actually matter. So next time someone whispers something behind another person's back, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? If not, say nothing. Let your silence be the loudest statement in the room. Because the less you participate in gossip, the more powerful your words become when you actually choose to speak. 3. When you're not fully informed, speak only when your words add value. We live in a time where everyone wants to be heard. Social media, group chats, and even casual conversations often turn into platforms for opinions, sometimes informed, but many times not. And while it's easy to jump into a discussion just to stay relevant, it's much wiser to pause and ask yourself, do I actually know enough to speak on this? When you're not fully informed, silence is not a weakness, it's a strength. It shows maturity, self-awareness, and a deep respect for the truth. Speaking without knowing the full picture not only misguides others, but it also damages your credibility. People may remember the wrong opinion you gave more than the times you stayed quiet. There's a difference between having an opinion and adding value. Just because you can speak doesn't mean you should. Especially in discussions involving sensitive topics, technical subjects, or personal matters, adding noise without knowledge can be dangerous. It creates confusion, spreads misinformation, and sometimes unintentionally hurts others. Staying silent in these moments doesn't mean you're disengaged or uninterested. It simply means you're choosing wisdom over ego. It means you care more about being accurate than appearing smart. And ironically, the less you speak without understanding, the more seriously people take you when you do choose to speak. It's also okay to admit you don't know something. Saying I'm not sure, or I'll need to learn more before I speak on that, shows integrity. It makes people trust you. No one knows everything, but very few are humble enough to say it out loud. That humility sets you apart. Silence also gives you the chance to listen, and listening is how you grow. When you listen more than you speak, you learn from others, gain new perspectives, and sharpen your understanding. And when the time is right, you'll have something meaningful to say. Not because you rushed to speak, but because you waited until your words actually carried weight. Many great thinkers and leaders throughout history have followed this principle. They observed before they acted. They listened before they spoke. And when they finally spoke, people listened because their words were rooted in thought, knowledge, and intention. In a world that rewards quick takes and loud voices, be different. Be thoughtful. Be someone whose words are measured, purposeful, and valuable. So the next time a conversation happens around something you're not fully informed about, pause. Don't let the pressure to speak pull you in. Instead, listen, learn, and only contribute when your words can truly add value. Because when you speak with wisdom, your silence in all the other moments becomes your greatest strength. Or, when you're being provoked, silence is power, not weakness. There will always be moments in life when someone tries to push your buttons. Maybe they insult you, question your worth, or try to drag you into a fight, not because you did something wrong, but because they want a reaction. In those moments, silence is not weakness. It's power. Real, grounded, unshakable power. When someone provokes you, their goal is usually control. They want to pull you out of character. They want to see you angry, flustered, or emotional. Because once you react, they win. They've taken your peace and replaced it with chaos. But when you stay silent, you take that power back. You show them and yourself that you're above it. Silence in these moments isn't about being afraid or passive. It's about having the strength to rise above the noise. Anyone can shout back. Anyone can argue. That's easy. What's hard is staying calm when everything inside you wants to respond. What's rare is being still when someone is trying to shake you. Sometimes saying nothing says everything. It shows discipline. It shows confidence. It shows that you know who you are, and no insult or opinion can change that. You're not ignoring them because you're weak. You're choosing peace because you're strong. You're not giving them the satisfaction of seeing you break. And let's be real. Most provocations aren't worth your time anyway. Most people who try to hurt you with words are dealing with their own pain, insecurity, or frustration. They project it onto others because it's easier than healing themselves. When you respond with silence, you're refusing to be their emotional punching bag. You're not giving them access to your energy. Over time, people will notice. They'll see you as someone who doesn't get shaken easily, someone who doesn't play petty games. Your silence becomes your shield. It protects your mental space, your emotional balance, and your dignity. Also think about this. How many times have you said something in anger that you later regretted? Words said in the heat of the moment can't be taken back. But when you stay silent, you give yourself space to think, to breathe, and to respond later, if it's even worth it. And sometimes the best response is no response at all. Silence doesn't mean you didn't notice. It doesn't mean you don't have a comeback. It means you value your energy too much to waste it. It means you're walking away with your head high while they stay stuck in the mess they tried to drag you into. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom, it's self-control. It's the ultimate flex in a world that wants you to react. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Stay calm, stay quiet, and let your peace speak louder than any words ever could. 5. When it's time to listen, not speak. Wisdom begins with listening. In a world full of noise, the ability to truly listen is becoming rare and powerful. Most people hear just to respond, not to understand. But when you choose to be silent and listen with intention, you tap into a deeper kind of wisdom. Because real learning, real growth, and real connection all begin with listening. When someone's speaking, and you stay silent, not waiting to interrupt, not planning your reply, but actually listening to their words, tone, and emotion, you show respect. You make them feel seen and heard, and that's one of the most powerful gifts you can give another person. Silence during a conversation doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It means you're choosing to understand before being understood. It means you're putting your ego aside to make room for someone else's truth. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Think about how much you can learn just by listening. You gain new perspectives, you hear experiences you've never lived, you discover things that challenge your beliefs and force you to grow. You won't get that by constantly talking. You'll only get it by staying quiet long enough to truly absorb what's being shared. Also, listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about catching what's not being said. The pauses, the body language, the emotions between the lines. These subtle cues can teach you more than words ever could, but only if you're silent enough to notice them. In relationships, whether with friends, family, or partners, most conflicts happen not because people don't talk, but because they don't listen. They speak over each other, defend themselves too fast, or assume what the other person is trying to say. But when you step back and simply listen, you allow clarity, empathy, and trust to enter the space. And in moments of learning, like in classrooms, mentorships, or even life experiences, the quiet observer often walks away with more value than the loudest voice in the room. Because wisdom isn't about showing how much you know, it's about being open to what you don't know yet. Listening also makes your words more impactful. The more you listen, the better you understand people, and the better you understand people, the more your words will resonate when you finally do speak. Your silence builds a foundation, your listening creates depth, and your words, when they come, will carry more meaning, because they are backed by understanding, not assumption. So remember this, every conversation doesn't need your voice. Some moments require your silence, your focus, and your presence. Let others speak. Let their stories unfold. Let your ego rest, because wisdom doesn't start with speaking, it starts with listening.